What's up guys, welcome to this new video. In this video I'm going to upgrade my stereo with this awesome small Android radio. This one has wireless Apple CarPlay, which I really like. So I've been looking for a radio for in my 190E for quite a while. And I didn't really want to put anything big in here because I think like having a big screen in this car is just going to look quite ridiculous. And also in the version of my car, I only have a single DIN slot. There are other versions of this car that have a different center console that includes a double DIN, or at least you can put a double DIN radio on there, but unfortunately I don't have it. You know, having a screen stick out like it quite recessed, it's pretty much impossible. It's just going to look weird too. It's going to look very off. So I've been looking for something that just has the single DIN slot with a touchscreen that has Apple CarPlay. It has the reversing camera, and actually found it. So I think it's going to be an amazing upgrade over this, you know, pretty old piece of shit. I already upgraded my speakers in the front and in the rear. So yeah, it's going to be really nice to drive this car once the new radio is installed. I do got the backup camera too, which we're going to install in this video, and I'm going to show it all. I'm also going to show you how to install a reversing camera. It can be, especially if you have never done it before, a little bit weird, but when it comes to the wiring, but it's actually super easy. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's first take a better look at the Android radio, and then we're going to take this one out. Okay, so this is it. It's quite small, so you can see it's like just slightly larger than just a single DIN slot, so it should fit fine. Maybe I have to do like a little bit of a modification. We'll see. Other than that, it has like the little metal bracket you can install if your car doesn't have it already. And then it also comes with the stuff you need to connect it. So all the wiring, and I think it also came with a little booklet that should give you some instructions. We'll see if we need it, probably not. So this is the main focus, and I also got the reversing camera somewhere. It's actually right here. I already had this one. This one didn't came with a kit, but pretty much all of them are like identical. So for the reversing camera, you basically got the video signal. Then one of these wires will connect to, I think the purple one out of my head, or the pink one. And one of these will connect to the reversing light. We have to splice it in. And I think the same goes for one of these, also goes to the reversing light, kind of like in parallel, I guess. And then this obviously connects together. I'm going to show it all in detail in a moment. It should be super easy. So I already got an aftermarket radio installed. Unfortunately, it does have a different connector than this one has, which means I am going to have to rewire it all, which kind of sucks, but I guess there's no way around it. So let's go ahead and take the old radio out. Okay, so at least in this car, it's like super easy to take it out. So you don't need like those little pins that go on the side, or you can already take this thing off, that just falls off. But taking this radio out is actually really easy. What I always do is just take this out. I take the ashtray out, and then, yeah, I got pretty big hands, but it still fits. You can kind of go under there and then just push it out like that. Like, yeah, I wouldn't put anything expensive in here because it's really easy to steal. But yeah, then you just pull it out. I'm going to disconnect the wires real quick. Okay, so I took it out. So as you can see, this one has a different style connector, which is just a single one. Now, luckily, I actually used these connectors which you can pull out, and also like you can see one of those is like one of those European connectors that they normally use in houses, and someone used it in this car. That's just absolutely not what you should do. So we're also going to replace that with something that is properly meant to be used with car wiring. I'm going to just pull all of these off. Well, at least I need to make sure that I remember which wire goes where. I guess, you know, it's pretty easy because red goes on red. Brown is ground. One of these two is ignition. One of them is, I think, for when you turn the lights, or like the dim lights on or off. I'm not entirely sure. And then the other wires that I have connected are just pure for the radio. So it should be pretty easy. So I'm just going to disconnect everything, and I will see you guys in a second. Okay, so first I'm actually going to wire up these, or at least put like the little connector on them. But I'm going to use these middle ones. So I'm just going to put them on the ones I need, and then we'll do the same for the for this one. So let's actually start off with this one, because it should be easy to connect to the car. Okay, so I got all of these connected up. Now I'm going to install the female ones inside my car so we can connect the audio plug completely up. So I actually made a small mistake. So I put male connectors on like the white and the gray and the white and black wires. And inside of the car, unfortunately, it's wired up or they use it the opposite way. So the ones on the car are actually male ones and the ones on the connector are actually female ones. So that kind of sucks. So I'm probably going to remove these ones and just replace them with the female ones. So I'm gonna have to run to the store anyway because I don't have enough male connectors. So I'm going to very quickly go to the store, buy some extra one of these connectors, and then I come back. Okay, so I'm just going to cut all of these off, and the same goes for remove this small box and replace it with the proper connectors, plug it in, and then we'll get to the other plug. Okay, so the audio connector has been fully plugged in, but at least I need to make sure that these are actually in the correct one, so I put them in loosely, and then when we connect the radio I can fully plug them in. So I got the old connector, we can just take it over to my workbench, and then we can wire up the new connector. So this cable right here plugs into the harness of the car, which makes it a little bit easier. So we'll just have to remake this part. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got this one connected up. The last wire we do have to do is back, which is for the backup camera, but we'll do that once we tested out this unit. So let's plug this back in, plug in the unit, and see if it works. Okay, right, so I got it plugged in. Let's turn on the AC. Okay, so it turned on and just turned off right away. Not sure why that is. Okay, so it isn't staying on, so I guess I probably switch around the ACC wire and the power wire. So let's just switch those around and see if it works. Alright, so I did mess up the wiring. So if I turn my lights on, I think it should turn on. Yeah, that's not how it's supposed to work. I probably got one of the two wires incorrectly. So I'm gonna switch them around and it should work fine. Alright, so I correctly installed the wires now. I did mess two of them up. So now when I switch it on, it should turn on. It's obviously the wrong car, but we'll see if we can change that. So it's trying to go to the radio, which isn't gonna work because I don't have an antenna. And let's see CarPlay. Okay, so let me try to set up CarPlay real quick so I can test some music, and I'll see you guys back in a second. Okay, so I installed it inside the dash. I'm actually really impressed with the fitment. It doesn't stick out on the bottom edge too far. You can see a little bit of a gap right there, but there's nothing to do about it. Yeah, so I'm actually really impressed. A really nice fit, like it doesn't look out of the place at all. Let's remove this satisfying protective cover. Satisfaction. Yeah, looks really nice. Alright, so the last very exciting thing to do is of course to connect up the camera. Let me make sure I have some light, okay? So there's pretty much two things we need to do. That is, we need to run this video cable all the way from the front to the back. And then we need to connect the camera, or at least install the camera onto the car. This is plugged in to the yellow one. And then this one is the power cable. The easiest way to do it is to get the red wire from both of these. You connect both of them to the reversing light, so you pull some power from there. So these wires only get powered when you turn the car into reverse. And as you can see that both of the yellow connectors have the red wire on it. So if this one gets powered, this one gets powered too. So this one is then run to the Android radio and connected to the reversing signal. So that's how you get the, or that's how you tell the radio that you're in reverse. So it's very simple actually. So, and then of course you have this connector here, which, as I said, the red one goes to the reversing light, and the black one you can either connect it to the chassis or plug it into some other ground cable which you have. So that's it. So the first thing we're gonna do, install, or actually I'm not gonna install this first, I guess. I'm probably going to install this one first, install this one next, and then I kind of want to just figure out the correct position for installing the reversing camera to make sure that we do have a clear view. So before I like plug it in or whatever, or screw it in. So let's first start off by running this cable. Okay, so I've run the video cable all the way from the back through the interior back to the radio. So I got the cable right here. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this red wire and we're going to connect up with this one, but We're going to connect it up with the pink wire that has a back on it. So we're just going to crimp them together. And then we're going to plug in the video cable. So these two cables are now connected. So the red wire goes to the wire that is labeled back. In my case, it's pink. Then for this radio, the back video signal is in this slot right here. So the one that's next to the antenna connector. And that should be it for this side. And now we're going to connect up the camera itself. Okay, so I've identified which wire has the reversing signal, which is this kind of like light blue and yellow striped wire. So I'm just going to cut it up, and then we're going to add in the power wires from both the this one and from the camera one. So I'm just going to splice it in, and I will see you when it's finished. All right, so I got all the wires connected. So as you can see, so this is the wire that gets powered when the reverse light is on. So we got one that goes off there into the yellow connector. So this one goes back to the front and tells the radio that is in reverse. And we got the other red wire that goes to the power for the camera itself. And then there's also the ground wire, which I connected to this bolt here, which gives it a pretty good ground. So let's hook up the camera and check out if it works. Right, so I got the camera hooked up, right now it's just floating there. We go into the car and let's take it out of reverse. So in my case, I need to make sure that it's completely on. The radio should just turn on normally. So when I go into reverse, it's a little bit difficult. You can see it works. Of course, it's not pointing to anything useful, but yeah, it's working fine. All right, so the next step is to obviously permanently mount this to the car. I'm probably just going to do it right there. In the middle is probably the best position. And we also have a little bit of an access hole here. Should be fine. I kind of checked with the locking mechanism. It doesn't really go deep in there, so we should be able to clear it without any problems. So I'm going to drill a hole. And what you need to do for the hole is you only need to make it big enough to fit one of these connectors, because you can feed them through one by one. So I think this is like 11 mil. So you need to make sure your hole is big enough to fit these. So I also got these like little rubber grommets. So this one is like an M12 size. So this one is slightly bigger than plugs. And then we can basically just make a small hole for the wires to fit through. So it's gonna weatherproof everything a little bit better. I would recommend to do this. So let's drill some holes and install the wires. All right, so now it has been completely installed. So you want to make sure when you drill the holes, you also paint the exposed metal. So let me just open my garage door. So as you can see, we might want to point the camera down a little bit more. Maybe the video signal is in the wrong format because it's all stretched out. So I'm just going to try to fix it. All right, so now as you can see, when I put it in reverse, you can see it displays the reversing camera. It's a little bit stretched out, I guess it's because of the weird screen resolution and the resolution of the camera, which is a little annoying. I couldn't find any settings to kind of change that within this camera or within this radio, but it works fine as it is. It's like better than having nothing. All right, so I got all the wires tied up. And the last thing I'm going to show you is actually how to change the startup logo you see when you start it up. So when I turn on my key, you will see I actually got a Mercedes logo instead of the default one. So what you want to do is you want to get a small SD card, which you can insert in the top slot. On that SD card, you want to put a folder called logo, and inside of that, you want to make sure you have the picture. So I'm on the SD card, you got a folder called logo, and you want to put a JPEG photo on there with resolution of 1280 by 480, and then you can install it. So after you have done that and inserted it into the radio, you want to go into setup, you want to go into factory set and type in 112233. That's gonna go into this menu. Then from internal card you go to external card, and you will see the different background pictures you have set, and you just click on it, click save, and then it's going to restart and it's going to show you the new picture you have just installed. So that's how you change that. Super easy. So that's going to be it for this videos, guys. I'm really happy with this new radio. I really love the reversing camera. It's going to be a lot nicer to take this car on road trips. Before I had this radio, I basically had like a suction cup on my window. It kept falling off because of the heat, and you know, my phone kept overheating because it was just in the sun all the time. So I think this is going to be so nice to have while driving, especially with the wireless CarPlay. I would 100% recommend this if you have a 190e. Just over any radio. It's amazing. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like, and I will see you guys in the next video.